you ever had to buy all new tile at one time, it would be $48,400,000. Nobody's ever paid $48,400,000.
$48 million.
Just for the tile.
Just for the tile. Then the surface material on the wing edge, which is reinforced graphite, which is very heavy. That is very heavy.
That one.
That stuff.
So opposite than that.
Yeah. Jack, excuse me, I need to,
Sure.
She came back in. Somebody was going out the door. So there's 22 pieces. This material will withstand over 3,000 degrees of heat. This is what brought the Columbia down in 2003. A piece of foam off of an external fuel tank the size of his backpack, but only that thick. Frozen solid hit the wingtip edge material, but if it hit here, it would have bounced off. If it hit here, it bounced off, but it hit right here and it punched a hole. So hot air went right into the wing and tore the wing off on re-entry. These 22 pieces, they each cost $1 million on the average. There's a piece on the nose, because that's the hottest spot in this ship. Now, we back up. They took and made a quarter-size model of this thing, stuck it in a wind tunnel, and blew chalk dust over all parts of it. And where those black tile are on the pod, are the one spot that the hot air going over the wing hit the ship. So that area there is protected with tile that will take more heat than the white stuff. The white stuff on the side that looks like 1-inch quilted squares of cloth are just that. They're a blanket about this thick, like a pot holder, and they'll withstand about 1,250 degrees of heat. And he's been having fun videoing this whole thing.
You know what's so interesting is, we came in the door and he asked me about the tiles.
Okay.
And I was smart enough to say, we're going to ask this guy about the tiles.
And my question is again, so this, he flew back and forth how many times?
25.
25.
123 million miles.
So each time he does the flight, you have to do some work on this or not?
Yeah, you
Or it's
inspect.
not,
You
you don't
inspect.
have
You would inspect it, and you would replace.
Okay.
You would replace tiles
So-
that need to be replaced. You would take the engines out and inspect and make sure that all the wires
So
and everything
my
is
question
right.
is to know is that on this coming back, how much work is done to repair? Is a lot of work? It depends on the
What
entrance.
needs to be done?
Okay.
What needs to be done?
Okay.
What do you do?
Well, I'm a computer scientist.
So do you build computers?
No, I work with a
Or do you just program? Or
Yeah.
you just program? So if you were the guy that physically builds them, and after 100 hours of use, would you turn that machine off and take the hard drives out and the muffin fans out and inspect them and make sure they're good, or we just wait for one to fail? I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
But they were being proactive. They would take it out, they would inspect it, they would look at it. They knew that the landing gear door, which is right there, and that edge of it is the hinge side, that comes down with such force that they always had to replace the tile on those parts. They knew there were certain things that needed to be looked at, and they would look at the whole ship because you put 7 people in there, and you want to bring them back, you know?
So,
Being skeptical.
how did you get this much knowledge? What is your background?
I was a construction worker.
And
So I was not a scientist. We have classes here. We have signage. There's on the wall there a poster board or whatever for each of the 135 missions of the shuttle program. These describe the shuttles, show you when they were built, how many missions they went on. that talks about the tile over there, where that man and those two kids are. It talks about this thing being flying brick because it doesn't have wings like an airplane, and it weighs 170,000 pounds, so you don't get to pick it back up and go around the block again.
Well, I
You
have
only get
one more question, which is this.
Go ahead.
So I see the size of the ship. So how much of this is just for the people, and after that, what is inside? I mean, just to understand the structure of it.
So, see the word Endeavour?
Yeah.
Put a wall where the E
Okay,
is.
good question.
See the R?
Now,
Well, about
we
2 feet
the
in front of
shuttle
that.
here, when you're
That's the
looking
space that people get.
is standing horizontal.
So,
that means like this.
your 2-car garage
When it's ready for launch,
is
it's
much bigger than the
vertical.
space they get.
Okay. So the napkin will be
The rest of it is cargo. So,
now. When they get
I
in,
tell people that it is a big, slow delivery truck. It's the FedEx truck going to the International Space Station.
get into space,
It's the tractor and the tractor
orbit around the
portion
Earth,
of it is where the
then
guy
shuttle
drives.
points like that, and
The
they
rest
sit
is the
like
trailer.
regular people.
The
Okay.
trailer is this wide
That's right. But when they're
That's
going
why.
to space
and 50 foot long.
they get
Because these
pressed into
shafts
those
that you
seats,
see
and they
here
let's say they weigh 100
and those pillow blocks are the walls of the shuttle, because that sits down in there and gets locked into place so that it doesn't float around.
They feel like they weigh 600
The International Space Station
that's-
is that wide
force of gravity pushing down on it.
and modular
When they get
of
up into
35,
orbit,
45
it goes from
foot
600
modules
pounds
that were taken up on shuttles and assembled up there to make
once
a
the
ship.
main engines
So
shut
the
down,
international is the same.
600 pounds. to
You're
zero.
only that wide.
Yeah, International Space Center.
So this would be the outside dimensions of it. So once you get inside of it, the walls are about this thick because there's equipment on it inside of it. So when you get
Would you like to be an astronaut?
that minus about 4 or 5 feet, you can stand in there and do this and almost touch the walls.
Well, maybe
Until
you
you
like
see it.
discovering.
Right.
I was thinking it was, let's imagine it was bigger than this, much bigger.
Yeah. Where do you, so I have Time Warner television cable. Now it's called Spectrum. And I have a special program which enables me to watch NASA TV.
Okay.
And you can go on,
We have that.
okay,
Yeah.
channel
Mhm.
143.
Oh, good. Good.
Okay.
I will show you.
Well, I used to see online, they have a web TV. I
They-
don't know if
they're
it's the same
Same thing.
Okay.
Basic, yeah. And so you can actually see inside the International Space Station because they link it to schools and stuff a lot, and kids get to talk to the astronauts and ask questions, and you can see how small it really is. You know.
He comes from a country called Cabo Verde. It's a 10-island nation off the west coast of Africa. And
Off the west coast of Africa, so how far north?
Well, it's quite above the equator.
So near Sri Lanka? That's
Well,
on that
Sri Lanka
side.
is the Asia.
Yeah,
we are
but
talking
it's-
about the Atlantic, this side. The side of
Oh, on the that,
Yeah.
so it would be on the other side. Okay. I was trying to orient myself on the African continent.
Yeah.
so
West side.
there is a Barboza Space Center at USC that trains junior astronauts, junior engineers, and junior scientists.
Here.
And yeah, right across
Okay.
the street. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the kids from his country to come online and experience all of this because we can walk around with phones and all kinds of things like that. And so we're simulating a project called the Occupy Mars Learning Adventure.
Okay.
And so the kids are 8,000 miles away getting these kinds of experiences because of the technology is able to carry the message.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to interrupt.
Sure.
Do you affiliated with that institution?
Yes, we just came back from there 2 minutes ago.
Okay. Are you there?
Vertubi School of Engineering.
So, I believe we have a gentleman here that actually teaches classes over there.
Oh, and he's right here on your team, right here?
No, not in this room, but he's the curator of the Air and Space Gallery here, Dr. Ken Phillips.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so...
You might want to remember that name.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. This was the greatest answer that I could ever receive on what is a tile.
So we have the external tank here, which is...
Did it just come?
No, that's been here for a year already.
Oh, okay.
But yesterday we took possession of 2 segments of the solid booster rockets.
Oh.
The segments that we took possession of, since we're going to have 2 solid booster rockets, the segments that we took possession of are the top segments, which have no fuel in them, but they're where all the electronics and stuff go.
Mm-hmm.
And we just got them yesterday, and they're stored outside because they need to have some work done to them before we get around to building the building.
Well, I can't thank you enough for the wonderful answer to this question.
So that engine puts out 12 million horsepower.
So, okay, so we're going to go over to the engine close
That's
up.
all I can tell you about it.
Okay, I'm on my way. Thank you very much.
My
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.